Hey everyone, this is PrinceWatercress, and welcome back to Let's Play Donkey Kong Land 3 for the Game Boy, and in this instance, the Game Boy Color in Japan only. In the last video, we did it! We beat the game, we found everything. We beat Baron K. Rulenstein in the Lost World, we got all 12 clocks, and now we have the time attack mode. There are 12 courses, one for every clock that we collected from both Baron K. Rulenstein, as well as the sheepy shops along the way where we won the card matching games. Believe it or not, I actually got through all these courses super quickly. I did it in the course of one night, and I did it all in the course of about an hour and change. My best guess would be about 65 minutes. I blame the Master Thief Runs and Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus for being able to beat this mode so quickly. Because of that, post-commentary became a must, again, when it came down to describing how best to get through all 12 time attack stages. All the time attack stages are based on stages previously played in the main game, and if you have the stages memorized, you shouldn't have too much trouble going through them all in less than the time allotted. If you don't, you'll eventually figure it out. With all that said, here we go. Stilt. For this one, you'll definitely want to play as Dixie the entire time. You'll want to take the high road and use the helicopter spin across the sky for as much as you possibly can, as it will allow you to skip a lot of the terrain and also a lot of the enemies. If you can do all that while going as fast as possible, you'll have no problem with this one. Mill. This one will give you a little more trouble compared to Stilt. You'll want to jump up to the next level from the moving platforms as soon as possible, and you'll also want to roll into or run under all those recoils. At the moving platforms before the porcupine enemies, you'll want to go left at the top so you don't run into a dead end. When you see the arrow made of bananas pointing left, you'll want to follow it. If there's an area leading downwards with moving platforms, drop straight down and avoid the platforms. You'll go down faster that way. Snow. You'll want to take the high road again and roll through all the enemies while running across the roof of every log cabin you find, as the first snow level in the game comes back with a time attack vengeance. Just like in the Stilt level, you'll also want to use Dixie's helicopter spin to fly through as much of the stage as possible, as it will allow you to skip past much of the terrain. Also, be ready to do your spin/roll attack through the last enemy before the goal, as it just might give you the late race boost you might need. River. Be ready to use Dixie's helicopter spin through much of the level. You'll want to stick to the high road, again, and you'll also want to be ready to jump off the set of 3 knickknacks those flying bugs, shortly after the start, as that will give you a huge boost. Be ready to avoid the knick-knack before the N, the Kong letter, not the actual end of the level, so you can drop into the water, get back onto dry land, and get back on the move as quickly as possible. Coral. The first underwater level is back, in time attack form. Get on guard as soon as you start the stage, as you'll be able to move faster as on guard compared to as the Kongs. After you're back in Kong form, you'll want to swim into the wall when you see the Barbos enemies. You'll swim into an invisible barrel cannon, and once you get in, you'll want to hold right on the D-pad so that you can get to the goal as soon as you're launched out of it. You'll need to use this shortcut if you want to beat the stage in less than a minute 20. Tree. This one can be a bit tough if you don't know what to do. You'll need to roll through the red enemies, and you'll also need to drop down the areas where you go straight down. There is a barrel cannon just past the start that will launch you upward just a little bit, and I usually find myself using it to save a few seconds. If there are platforms in the way, you'll need to use your roll attack in order to move towards and fall off the edges, which will keep your roll going indefinitely as long as you're moving off ledges. As for the parts where you need to climb up and avoid the Minkies, use the barrel shields, but be ready to quickly climb up the ropes at the first opportunity. Cliff. Cliff is probably the hardest of the time attack stages to beat. I go up at the start and I drop downwards at the parts where I need to go down. You don't need to steel keg shortly after the start, but it might help with one of the big blue Kremlings. Drop down from all the ropes as soon as you can, then use the barrel cannons and head left while avoiding the clasps. Once you drop down, you'll need to avoid all the buzzes as you head to the right. Then you'll need to drop down all the ropes while heading to the left. Once you're past the last clasp, just keep heading to the left, drop down as you go, and jump over that big blue Kremling to get to the goal. Machine. Be ready to jump over to the bazooka and its barrel shots shortly after the start, and keep in mind that the carbines, the owls that shoot out the fireballs, will shoot out a fireball the moment they are on screen. But if you keep running without hesitation, those fireballs will not hurt you. On the parts where you have to go up while dealing with the carbine, you'll need to time your ascent so that you can avoid getting hit by fireballs. I recommend jumping into the barrel cannon past the first lava pit that leads to the O, as you can skip a little bit of the terrain that way and you can drop down and get back on the move without having to use the barrel cannons that will take you back to the meat of the stage. There's another bazooka that shoots barrels near the N, but once you get past him, the worst that the stage can throw at you will be over. With that said, being as fast as you can before the N is essential to beating the stage in less than 1 minute 40. Falls. The final waterfall level is the time attack stage for falls. For this level, I recommend not using Ellie at the beginning, as you can save time not transforming into her. Also, taking the barrel cannon shortcut shortly after beginning can definitely shave a few seconds off if you can get to it seamlessly. For the tracker barrel sections with the buzzes, you'll need to time your movements and your launches so you can easily get over the buzzes while getting to the other side quickly and easily. And with enough practice, you'll get used to the up and down movements from the tracker barrel launches. There are very few areas where you can use Dixie's helicopter spin, if any, and none of them are in the areas with the tracker barrels. When you see the arrows made of bananas that point at where to go, follow them. Once you reach the top, head to the right. Cave. Aside from all the enemies you'll need to get past, there are also the ghost barrels that you'll have to luck out with. As long as you're fast, they're not much of a problem. Also, when you get Squitter, be ready to shoot out webs constantly and make sure that you forgo the barrel cannon so that you can get down faster. Also, watch out for the Kachuk at the end, especially if you have just one Kong, as that Kachuk can be an absolute run killer. Jungle. You'll want to use Dixie's helicopter spin whenever you can in this stage. When the game hands you a barrel cannon to jump in, be sure to take it. Once you get on the conveyor belt ropes, it's just a matter of taking the high road and sticking to it with Dixie. When you see the barrel cannon pointing down and right at the conveyor belt ropes, take it. The first one lets you continue on, while the second one leads you to the end. Tube. When it comes to the jumps over the buzzes, the bananas will be your guide. The trick is to jump just before you touch the bananas, because if you jump the moment you touch them, you'll be too close and you'll be taking a hit. Once you get on the second sled, you won't have the bananas to guide you, so you'd better have the jumps down if you want to beat the time of 46 seconds here. When you reach the barrel cannons, aim to the left so you can finish the level. And that's it! That's Donkey Kong Land 3, 103% completed. Let's see how quickly we did this. 2 hours and 8 minutes. I had no idea that I would blaze through the game that quickly. Also tells me that a sub 2 hour time is definitely possible for all those budding DKL3 real-time speedrunners out there. If you want to hear my thoughts on this game, go back to the end of the previous video and you'll be able to hear them there. Other than that, this has been Let's Play Donkey Kong Land 3 for the Game Boy Color. Hopefully you enjoyed this as much as I did, maybe just a little bit more, and hopefully I will be back with another game. Until then, this is PrinceWatercress. Take care, stay safe, thanks for watching, and see y'all later!